Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 launches on August 25th on PS5, Xbox, Steam, and the Epic Games Store. On LV558, your squads have grown to up to 4 players, so enemies and encounters have grown in scale. But don't worry, you and your squad can use the elements to stop xenomorphs and synths. Burn or freeze xenomorphs in their tracks. Electricity may not help, but electricity can help with other baddies instead. And it is even easier to get a team going because the game is cross-platform at launch. Not only can you expect an overhauled experience from the original game, but you and your team can engage with a story with heavy stakes. But that's not it, y'all, because you and your squad can partake in a new horde mode to take on waves and waves of xenomorphs, synths, and who knows what else. See ya on LV558.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from GiantBomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about physical and digital and digital and physical and the biggest game reveal of all time. It's going to be a good one because we have Jon Martin on the show. Jon, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeff. I'm very excited to be on the show. It's been crazy time for video games. I feel like I'm like 30 steps behind with Gamescom just kind of exploding in front of my face. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously you guys covering it makes it a lot more digestible. But yeah, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, it's been one of those busy weeks. We recorded a film in 40s last night that we'll have up eventually for everybody. Hang in there if you're a premium member. We did watch Paul Blart Mall Cop. So finally, I'm no longer a Philistine. I can appreciate the finer things in life. And now I can compare all of those finer things to the finest thing, which is Kevin James doing his thing. That was fun. We had Abby sit in on that. But it was like another one of these things where it's like, all right, worked all day, and now we got a thing in the evening. So definitely been on my toes all week. But you're right. It's been nice to kind of digest Gamescom from over here and also getting like little tidbits and updates from Dan and Will, who are trying things. They've been made a lot of appointments just to play some games, get some opinions, reporting very good things about a lot of the games they're playing. And it's like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm playing a lot of games that are about to come out, and it doesn't sound like things are going to slow down. Games just keep getting better, despite the conversation around games often not being so. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm hanging in there. You playing anything right now? Is there anything like that's taking up a lot of your time?
Yeah, so I made the dumb decision to get into Final Fantasy XIV for the first time. That was dumb. I don't know why I did that. I have no free time anymore. It's all 14. It's all that grind. But no, besides that, just playing like a couple of multiplayer games. There's a new update to like the Ninja Turtles Hades game that I play with my friends sometimes. So that's been
cool.
pretty fun. And then, yeah, just doing, I've been trying to clear through some like co-op games. So I've been playing Pikmin 3 with my girlfriend. We're kind of gearing up for Orbitals. So I'm getting excited about that. So.
Yeah, it's another one where it's like, I am also, getting excited about playing Orbitals one way or the other. That may be one I'm like, come on, kiddos, play that with me. So I can actually have someone that will see through the whole thing with me. I got to get the hose out, though. You said you're getting into Final Fantasy 14 and the chat starts chanting one of us. I'm going to have to spray them back. Cool off, you goddamn heathens. All right?
Yeah.
Settle down. Man.
This is part of the problem. Once you're a part of that, it's just like they keep grabbing you like if I fell out of like a river and then like the hands are pulling me under. It's intoxicating, and I'm just in the boring stuff, apparently.
Right, the crabs in the pot are just like, they're not going to let you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb. You can go to giantbomb.com/join and become a premium member and support independent games media. Ensure that we can keep doing things our way. We are thankful to everyone who has. We often see like the names of people joining up the roster of new members, and it means the world to us. We see that. It's like, hell yeah, people want to have more of this, and we are deeply appreciative. If you want to be a part of that, giantbomb.com/join. You're going to get ad-free versions of the shows. You're going to get premium exclusives. We have a premium exclusive stream happening tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's the Giant Bomb Video Weekend Rental Club, everybody. I am going to a rental video store that exists out of space-time, and we will be getting games that came out for the N64, not in this universe, but in other universes. And we'll be hanging out, just kind of getting pizza and drinking Jolt Cola. For real, Jolt Cola is really on. I think the other people on the stream, I sent them Jolt Cola. They all now have that in their possession, as well as some other goodies. And it's just going to be a cool hangout way to end the week. We were going to do a premium-only stream for the Grand Theft Auto reaction today, because we weren't exactly sure what the state of that was going to be. I'm like, I'll react to some clips here or there. We'll try to tiptoe around. Got the green light from Rockstar themselves.
Oh, wow.
So you're allowed to talk over this. Just you can't just replay the thing uninterrupted. So today we'll find some way, as the thing is starting 3 p.m. on Netflix, we can do the Netflix version. It's crazy. Where I will just kind of sit down. We'll turn that thing on and we'll pause and rewind and go back and look at different things and answer questions or ask you guys what you guys want to see. And we'll do it that way. So hang out at 3 p.m. today. We'll get that going one way or the other. There's a whole bunch of other stuff happening, though. But all of that's possible because people go to giantbomb.com/join. As far as this show, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Before we do that, thanks to Video Game Town. Go to videogame.town. They're supporting all of our live streams this week. Big shout out to them. That's a new independent video game website that's paying cool people to write cool things about video games, including a lot of our friends. So indie sites helping out indie sites. We are always going to be down for that. So go to videogame.town right now, everybody. Check them out. All right. So we have a lot to get into. Let's start the morning mess with GTA 6 Netflix trailers, beefy runtime revealed, and footage is captured on a PS5. This is from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. At long last, Rockstar will lift the veil on GTA 6 today, August 27th, via an extended look on Netflix. But how long will the broadcast be? Now we know for sure. According to an updated listing for the showcase on the Netflix app, the extended look event will run for 26 minutes. There was earlier rumors it would be 70 minutes. Not that long, but still 26 minutes is especially beefy. I didn't say hello, YouTube. Oh, no, people are going to, hello, YouTube. We'll cut that back in. We'll fix that in post. According to an updated listing, the 26 minutes, this suggests it's more than a trailer, but instead a proper deep dive into the world of GTA 6. That's exciting news for fans, as Rockstar has only ever delivered 2 trailers for the game since 2023, and only sparing other details along the way. Additionally, Netflix's blog post announced that the extended look was updated with confirmation that the content in the broadcast was captured entirely from in-game footage on PlayStation 5. That's no surprise either, as the May 2025 GTA 6 trailer was also captured on a PS5 and not specifically a PS5 Pro. So we'll be able to get a pretty good idea of what this thing is really going to run like for most people. 26 minutes. It does sound like one of those standard Rockstar. Here is us explaining everything that's in here. I would imagine maybe there's some extra production values on top, maybe due to Netflix's involvement, but maybe not. This could just be one of those extended trailers with a little bit of a longer runtime. But we should get a lot of details. And there are some details that did come out today, and we'll get to those here in a second. But what do you think of all this so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably, as someone who is kind of tired of talking about GTA 6, I'm excited for it to come out. And I think this is honestly the best way, for me personally, how I would want to see this. 26 minutes is an extended length trailer or gameplay exposition of most games that I like. I feel like you get in and you get out relatively quickly for the scope and size of this game. I think that's really smart. You don't want to give people too much information, because even that is already going to be analyzed all hell. I think this is really smart. I'm very curious to see how it's going to perform on the PS5. That's probably the most interesting thing to me, because then just being able to visualize how to spec this up is pretty cool. The only thing I'm curious about is, and granted, this is a marketing deal with Sony, that's the reason that they're doing on there. I really do wonder how the Series S version is gonna do for this. If it even fits on the hard drive. But I think this is probably the safest and probably best way that I can do it, especially after everything that's been going on, everything that's been revealed and stuff. But I feel like it's going to be pretty heavily curated at this point to try to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to show off the big, the big marketing beats, the big things that they think matter to people. Yeah, I will. You're right. I'm most curious about Xbox Series S because that will sort of say, I will use that as a barometer of whether or not this game could ever happen or run on a Switch 2.
Yeah.
Which probably not. It's probably never going to come to Switch 2, but it could if it runs in a decent way on Xbox Series S. And then on top of that, Rockstar feels like, that's a place where we could make some extra money or at the very least, I think if once they get to the point where they're doing GTA Online 2, or again, whatever that ends up looking like, they were like, hey, you know what? Actually, people on Switch 2 might spend more money than the people on PC because PC people just like to go in there and do their role-playing servers and find other ways. Now, of course, they own all that stuff now, but I still think PC people will try to create their own environment outside of that where they're not directly giving Rockstar money. That won't be true for Switch 2, so maybe it'll get supported. But we're a long ways off from any of that. Right now, it's, hey, biggest game reveal of all time, I guess. Yeah. And I said it on Blue Sky right beforehand because it is how I'm feeling, where this is a game where you can have an opinion on it, and it just has no bearing on anything whatsoever because this game is just going to do what it's going to do. It sort of exists unaffected by what anyone might say about it. The normal person will just go out and get this thing no matter what. And it does at a certain point feel almost Sisyphean, where I talk about this thing every day on the show, and then the ball rolls back down the hill and I got to talk about it again the next day. It's newsworthy. I'm going to keep bringing it up, but it's getting exhausting. I don't necessarily think, now that we'll get past this, we'll be able to talk about it less. That's probably not going to happen, but maybe I can move it lower in the order in the future. There are some details about the game that did come out today, or yesterday, I should say. GTA 6 gets a ton of new official details before today's big gameplay reveal. This is from Dave Aubrey at VGC. Let's see here. In a new interview with Dazed, head of development and Rockstar North co-studio head Rob Nelson revealed dozens of facts about the game, big and small. The new details were highlighted by Shinobi on Twitter. Shouts out to Shinobi. Player actions now have consequences in the world. So walking down the street with a rifle, you can't just do that, which, that sounds very Red Dead Redemption. Jason is ex-military and a drug runner. Lucia is a fighter fresh out of prison. You can also play as a couple or cause chaos independently. So I guess, we've seen a lot of those clips from the Leak to Build where the characters are kind of going off on their own. And I imagine that means it's like, and then you could swap to the other character and they're doing their own thing. But it's like, play as a couple. Can you just like have them walking side by side and then swap between them in the same scene? I guess that's what this is suggesting. Although, it could be the sort of thing where maybe it's not as robust as that. But I'm expecting things to be pretty robust in this game. They are kind of positioning it to be like the most well fleshed out game of all time for those kinds of features. On the way to a job, you switch between driving or the other character in the passenger seat, scroll on your phone, etc. Let's see, seamlessly swap between each during a mission. Story is very Bonnie and Clyde. Choices can have repercussions and cut much deeper than Rockstar's previous titles or honor systems. Rockstar wants to enable as much self-expression as possible without losing the essence of the characters. Exercising returns, working out visibly builds and tones your muscles. Eating fast food will affect your weight, so very San Andreas. Spending a long time without sleep, running from police, or a multi-day bender will have an effect on Jason and Lucia. They might get like bags under their eyes, or other characteristics might creep out. Filled with things to discover, Rockstar spent years on the ground in Miami and surrounding areas for research. I'm sure they did. Rockstar met with ex-criminals, law enforcement, club promoters, gun dealers. This is the standard kind of like promotional shit you hear where like we got embedded with the real people to find out what it's really like. And I'm always skeptical of that having any real effect on the game. But a couple more bullet points here. They have exceptional NPC variety, or so they claim to, from young to old, tall, short, tattooed, pierced, plastic surgery, more varied body types and clothes, etc. Although that is, those are just different, like visual, like distinguishing characteristics. Are they going to behave differently? That is also something they're trying to claim will happen, but I want to see more of that. Rockstar developed new tools and pipelines that enabled them to build the most detailed and varied character population we've ever created. Rockstar has more than doubled in size since Red Dead Redemption 2. Over 50 real street artists were brought in to design murals in the game, and the team that deals with vehicle handling is made up of literal race car drivers. I will believe that will be improved when I see it. All right, John, those are the big bullet points. What do you think? To me, this is pretty standard video game promotional stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to be able to just point out the minor minutia before people either notice it or don't notice it. So it's something you can call into question. You're like, oh my God, this game's we're literally thinking about everything. I mean, it makes sense. It's really cool. I wonder if we are going to have, and granted, this is kind of a crazy comparison because the time difference between San Andreas and Vice City was like a year or two versus like GTA 5 to 6. I honestly wonder if people are going to complain about all these realistic or the elements of realism impacting their game in a way that like GTA 5 kind of felt a little bit more arcadey. I know growing up there was a lot of people who are either camp Vice City, camp San Andreas. I don't know if this is going to be controversial or not. I think every element is here to have people talking about the game because that's the way to get people to buy the game. But yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It's going to be so in depth. It's going to be awe-inspiring. Going to be the template games are, compared to for years down the line. I don't know. Do you think? And obviously, neither of us are like huge GTA heads, but like,
correct.
Do you think you will notice all this stuff? Do you think it is going to impact your enjoyment of the game, or do you think you're going to want more of an arcadey sort of experience?
Yeah. So here, my prediction is, and this has been borne out through several Rockstar games now, is that I will go in excited about these simulation aspects. These are the kinds of things that I find very cool. This morning, I was like watching some video about how quarks work. And I was in my head like thinking about what would a game be like if it actually had quarks coming together to create, neutrons and protons and electrons, and then you could use those to build, atoms and stuff like that, and just keep going up the stack until you have creatures. I'm like, I want it to be physically real. It was just a dumb thing as I'm working out. And that's the shit that excites me. The thing with Rockstar is, and this is my prediction for this game as well, that it will present itself as very simulated and it will be very surface level. That's almost always how it goes, where on the screen, you can look at a bunch of stuff and like, it's simulating this, it's simulating that. And then I say, okay, now what happens when I interact with this thing? Does it have a cascading effect? Does it affect the world in a way that feels like my consequences really do have, or my actions have consequences? And they're saying that, but they always say that. And my guess is it's half-assed because I think you're right. They want to serve both masters, and it's worked out well for them. So I don't expect them to change it. Where it's like, hey, yeah, all the simulated visual elements or things that kind of, eat too much food, your character gets fat, sure. But does that like change that much else about people's reactions? And then does that reaction really matter? Or is it just they have a different line that they used when they saw you as opposed to if you were ripped and buff?
Yeah.
And that's probably what this game is going to be. It's going to be very surface level. So I expect I will be disappointed, and I will be very happy if I'm wrong, because that is the game I am curious about, the one that can feel like it's really alive. But we'll see. And then, but that's me. If I think about the wider audience, yeah, they're going to want something a little bit more arcadey, just fun, dumb fun, which I also really like. But it will deliver that. The 6-star wanted level that was in one of those leaked videos. A lot of people have fun just messing around with that, and I bet that stuff will still work very well.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead. Yeah. No. That was literally it.
So once again, we have a voicemail dump truck today, everybody. But as that's winding down, I will have a talkover ready to go. I'll be in there, and then when these guys, can hop in if they want to, they'll hop in and we'll kind of watch it. And like I said, the one thing is we just can't replay the video in its entirety uninterrupted. So what we'll do is I'll put the video on, we will watch it, and then we'll kind of go back and talk about things. And if you guys have questions, or you want to check out one spot, or you think, hey, I saw something cool, let's go look at this in slow-mo or something, we'll just scrub through the video and see what's in there. Again, I'm curious about this game. I am excited in wanting to play it like I am any normal video game. But it does feel like a monumental thing. So we'll treat it that way a little bit. All right, let's keep going here. Physical games on Switch 2 somehow keep getting worse. Amazon listings now explicitly identify the Switch 2 retail version as download code only. So this isn't even a Switch 2 game key card. You're essentially just buying the box and getting the code. That's not unheard of, but it's still very frustrating, especially when, on Xbox, they're just announcing that thing we talked about yesterday where your disc versions of games can be turned into digital versions and you're getting more stuff over there. And it's like everyone's like, hey, this is really cool, actually. And a sort of generous technological creation that feels like, hey, I'm getting more out of this thing. Oh, yeah, sure, we're going all digital, but at least I don't feel like I wasted all my time getting those discs. And meanwhile, the same company is putting out something that has no physical version on the Switch 2. But again, that's just not unheard of for Call of Duty specifically. But then meanwhile, Danganronpa 2x2 just changed formats. Spike Chunsoft previously said that they would put the full game on the card. That's no longer the case. They're reversing that decision in every region. Every region will now get a game key card for the Switch 2. Meanwhile, the Switch 1 version and PS5 versions will still be getting the full game on the card/disc. So that's strange, but I wonder what is the difference going to be between the Switch 1 version and the Switch 2 version? Like, should you just buy the Switch 1 version and basically you're getting the same game? I guess I don't really know. But yeah, it continues to be a case where we know where things are moving, and when companies see physical games that have the full game on the card on Switch 2 absolutely sell better. There's no doubt about it. The cost involved still sometimes convince them to say, screw it, we're not going to try to do that. We're going to save the money and just do a game key card. And I get excited sometimes where I'm like, hey, I think maybe these companies can be convinced to do the right thing and put the game on the card. It doesn't feel like that is a wholesale change across the industry. We're still going to get a lot of, most of the time, they're just going to go with game key cards, right?
Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense for the case. Switch 2 games, I think, cost more to develop than a Switch 1 version, which is why we're seeing that disparity there. And yeah, like I personally, as someone who really likes the convenience of digital, but also really likes the long-term impact of having a cartridge, having that data on there, it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Like, as an example, like last year, my friend got me, he really loves the Trails series, and he got me the Switch 1 version of Trails in the Sky First Chapter because that was on cart, and then you could buy an upgrade key. I think even like Final Fantasy Tactics was the exact same thing.
That sounds right.
But you have to like buy the upgrade to get there. So it's like adding a level of tedium that for me is like, what's kind of the point at that point? Like, I don't even know how many layers of things are going to be unavailable should servers go online. And yeah, like, and don't get me wrong, like Switch boxes have had codes for the longest time. I've bought in a couple just because it's stupid. Like, I just like the box art for the Nickelodeon kart racing game because those games are dumb and I like playing dumb games a lot. But like, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Nintendo very much feels like half in, half out. One of the bigger things is that, like, if you look at the eShop and you have a physical game, it's not going to show you've purchased that game because to them, you really haven't purchased that game. It's like you have the right to play that game with your physical copy rather than you own this copy. So I don't think that's going to change. I think it might just get worse over time, even though Nintendo is in this good situation where a lot of people do see like, hey, all these games are releasing physically. They are getting Oblivion remastered and it's selling out. They are getting all these like physical games that are selling out because they want that like stability and structure. And it's like this thing that has existed for as long as Nintendo has been, like, making cartridges or even discs. It's very weird. It's very weird to see Xbox doing something a little bit better than Nintendo right now, but it's not out of the realm of, possibility or the norm.
Can I ask you, I keep feeling like, man, they're doing all this effort to do disc to digital, which I think is called like Proton or Positron. It's called Positron. That's the initiative that enables you on Xbox to put a disc in your Xbox Series X and then get the digital entitlement. Again, we talked about that yesterday. To me, it's like, okay, at least for a little bit, I would expect them to offer, for the next couple of years, offer a way to put a disc into any console, including the Helix, which I don't think the Helix will have a disk drive built in. But I still think they will probably just say, look, yeah, we will at least make it so we'll have a USB drive that you can buy separately, and maybe it won't be abundant. We won't have a lot of them, but you could plug one in, and for at least a couple of years, we're going to enable you to take those discs and make sure that they work. So there will be some disc support on Xbox for some time. That's the way I see it in my head. I think a lot of other people are seeing this to be like, oh, this is so they can just completely cut off discs for Helix. And I guess I'm like, yeah, I guess that's also possible. This is a situation where I'm being a bit more optimistic. Where do you fall on that? Do you think maybe I should be a little bit more pessimistic?
In the case of Xbox, it's interesting, right? Because it's all just pushing the Windows like Microsoft ecosystem. So it's like at launch, I think just as a reaction to the backlash Sony has gotten, I think Ashish Sharma would be like, hey, let's have some option for people to keep playing their Xbox games going forward. They already sort of are building that into their backwards compatibility because now that is a thing on PC. Granted, it hasn't been happening as fast as just like digitizing your game, which has kind of just been a pipe dream. But yeah, I think at least for launch, it's going to be a situation that's like we will see some method of getting your games playable on there, but it's definitely not the long-term goal. The long-term goal is absolutely to move everyone to digital, and this is just a nice glass of water to like swallow the pill a little harder than like Sony shoving it down your throat like they have been doing. It's weird. Like at what point do you think everything is just going to be digital? Like at this point, like Nintendo is kind of holding stuff back, and there's independent companies like Limited Run and all that good stuff. I am 8-bit.
But they are at the whims of the platform holders, right? They have to
exactly
when they print a PlayStation disc, they have to go through Sony to do that, and Sony's cutting them off. So as they can have all the desire and motivation to do that they want, if they are being cut off by the licensor, it's not going to be possible. Yeah, I would have said by the end of next generation. Now it feels like much quicker than that. Obviously, it's all offset because you're right. All these companies are maybe at different footholds when it comes to their position, vis-a-vis physical and digital. But the Switch 2 will have a physical option of some sort throughout its entire lifespan. So that's several more years, like half a decade at least, probably more than that. And then PlayStation 6 is, they're just going to stop making discs all across the board, so it doesn't matter. And then Xbox is maybe somewhere in the middle, but no one buys physical games on Xbox already. Like that was the whole thing. Like they wanted to kind of force digital back at the beginning of the Xbox One. People weren't ready, and then slowly over time with Game Pass and a bunch of other stuff, Xbox Play Anywhere, they led the horse to water instead of just like forcing the horse into the water. And now the whole Xbox horse is there. No one buys the physical games there, and so it kind of almost doesn't make sense. They could have had this big, slap in the face moment of Sony where they're like, hey, we are going to keep supporting discs. But at least business wise, it makes very little sense for them to do that because they aren't selling a lot of discs. You get a lot of third party announcements. Again, there was one recently, I talked about it, but where they announced that, hey, we're going to have a physical version for PlayStation 5. And it's also coming to the Xbox and PC.
Persona.
Yeah, Persona. That's right. Exactly. And it's like, but that will just be digital only on Xbox. And it's like, because people wouldn't buy the physical version. So of course they're not going to do that. It's very soon. It's very soon, with the exception of, Switch 2 obviously will just continue doing things the way they want to do it. And Nintendo sells a lot of physical, like it's not like they're limping or something. When they put out a game, it sells a ton of physical copies around the world, and especially in Japan. And as long as that's the case, they're just not going to stop doing it because that's an audience that they're very happy to keep happy. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, plenty of headlines to get into. We are going to offer you a way to skip out on these ads. If you go to giantbomb.com/join, you get the ad-free version of the audio and the video show there. In the meantime, let's hear from our friends at videogame.town.
This episode is brought to you by Video Game Town. Video Game Town is an independent media site where you can find fascinating articles, podcasts, and videos created by the best and brightest in video game journalism. In order to escape the industry is currently in, Video Game Town proudly presents the best in gaming coverage, joined by plenty of familiar faces: Khalif Adams, Jenna Stieber, Merritt K, Ian Walker, and more.
Video Game Town is run by two friends, Grant and Jared, who bring their decades of experience covering games, movies, tech, and memes. They deliver the kind of analysis, editorials, podcasts, videos, rankings, and nerdy ephemera that you can't find elsewhere. So check them out at videogame.town and be sure to subscribe to their Video Game Town Hall series wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to support the return of fully independent web media, you can directly support at patreon.com/videogametown for exclusive articles and podcasts.
Video Game Town.
Video Game Town. Video Game Town. Video Game Town. Video Game Town. Video Game Town. Video Game Town. Video Game Town. Yeah. We're back for Game Mess Mornings. I'm Jeff Grubb. That's Jon Martin. Let's continue on here with Konami. Konami wants annual Silent Hill games and is working on, quote, many unannounced projects. This is from Dave Aubrey at VGC. Shout out to Dave for all the stories today. Konami wants to make Silent Hill an annual franchise. That's according to franchise producer Motoi Okamoto at Gamescom 2026. Our aim is to hopefully have an annual release of new games, Okamoto said to Games Radar Plus. The Japanese and Scottish settings of Silent Hill F and the upcoming Silent Hill Townfall are no accident either. And the series has been moving away from its original setting on purpose. If we stay laser focused on the same American setting, that would exhaust narrative possibilities and also potentially cause fatigue for the player base. And that's Okamoto continuing to explain the situation. So in order to make Silent Hill an annual franchise, multiple games will need to be developed simultaneously. And that's something Konami already has underway. There are still many projects that are still under the works and very unannounced titles, he continued. So obviously we can't go into specifics, but there are still many projects that we are currently exploring and working on as we speak. We would like to let players know that we have more experiences coming up and many types of games that we believe will be able to provide positive kinds of surprises for players waiting for this for the series. People seem to be impressed by Townfall. Jordan Midler at VGC did say, after I left the hands-off demo of Silent Hill Townfall, it was hard to think about much else. The elephant in the room is that as a Scottish person, it's novel to see my country represented, but not only that, represented so authentically. So that game's out September 24th. That's a Silent Hill this year. Seems like they have a Silent Hill 1 remake with Bloober in the works, so we can count that as a future project. It's working, right? I think people are saying, a lot of fans, when I've kind of like checked the vibe on people, they're saying, hey, if the Silent Hill Townfall is good, if it's somewhere in the realm of the last two games of Silent Hill F and Silent Hill 2 Remake, this will be undoubtedly the best period of Silent Hill games ever. Yeah. The best time to be a Silent Hill fan ever. And it's kind of hard to be like, okay, well, they've earned this sort of place that they found themselves in. Let's just have faith that they can keep it going because they've shown they can. What else is there to say about this, John?
Not much, but I think in a comparison to Capcom, what Konami has really been doing well is finding partners who understand their franchises, understand what makes those like pillars and IPs great. Like Bloober Team was such a good get for them because it set them up for these wins with Silent Hill F and hopefully Townfall. It's looking really, really good. But yeah, like this is a kind of thing where it's like Konami we're kind of in the comeback Konami era. So it kind of is making sense that they need to rely on these others. Represent. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Castlevania. This is completely aside. That's going to be great.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like they're playing to their strengths of like, we've lent our IPs to other people, we've forged relationships, and that's how we're going to be doing this, as opposed to cranking our internal studios, which they kind of need to build up again because like it had been like over a decade since really any games had been made that weren't pachinko like adjacent, I guess. But
they had some free to play stuff that made them a lot of money for years there. They had eFootball that was actually successful, making money at least. And before that, Pro Evolution Soccer. And that's kind of like, so when you look at it, like, no, Konami's doing just fine. I would bring up, man, I remember when Konami used to make video games and a bunch of pedantic assholes, because it's video games, that's what we all are. We'd be like, oh no, they make so much money. They make more money than all these other video game companies. And I would try to be like, you know what I mean? And now we're here. This is what I meant. Yeah. This is great. This is awesome. And the fact that they like just clocked that Silent Hill was the key to this, that if they got
Yeah.
Silent Hill right, it would sort of just unlock not good vibes and a steady revenue stream of, man, the Silent Hill fans and kind of gamers as a large monolith will eat up all the horror content you can provide. If you want to just put out one of these a year from different developers and from different studios, and as long as they are of a certain quality level, they will just, every single one of these, they're not going to get tired of it. And now you've also considered that possibility. From the beginning here, it wasn't like, let's do 5 games back in Silent Hill, like always, and then maybe eventually we'll take a risk and try something else. No, they knew immediately, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to have a lot of these games. What would be a sort of blockade to making sure that people don't get exhausted, or that they might get exhausted by this? And it's like, yeah, having the same setting over and over again probably is something that you should break pretty early on. They did. They succeeded. And I think most fans are welcoming this. Even the most skeptical and cynical Silent Hill fans seem to be like, hey, we're okay with this, because they've been through the bleakest shit with this series. And so that, like, they know what that looks like. And this is, maybe if they don't love every single one, I don't think most of them are like, well, this feels like what Silent Hill is going to be like forever. So I can expect, if I don't like this one, if I don't enjoy this one, the next one could be my shit. And that has got to be a good feeling for people who have spent a lot of time loving these games. I hope that they're able to do the same thing for Castlevania and a bunch of others. Yeah. Man, if they get this next Castlevania right, and then try a 3D Castlevania and sort of bounce back and forth between Metroidvanias and 3D ones, and I would be very excited. That'd be very, very cool. All right, there was 18 minutes of Fable gameplay out of Gamescom. The sort of big thing here is they really did hone in on the NPCs and how scripted and authored they all are. There's 400 individualized NPCs that are all voiced, interactable. They have their own homes, their own personalities, their own hobbies, their own traits, their own schedules. You see this a little bit in the trailer, at least for one of them. And I think that's going to be the make or break for this game, because they also showed combat, and it looked very stock standard, looked very off the shelf combat system. Obviously, there's going to be magic and stuff like that, but just swinging the sword, it didn't look, inspired or anything like that. So it's going to come down to interacting with that world and what that feels like. And it does seem like that's where they put most of their effort. And, based on this 18 minutes, what I watched of it, I was like, okay, there's something here. Obviously, I want to mess around with it myself and see what that's like. Did you get a chance to watch any of this or see this for yourself?
Yeah, so I watched it like 35 minutes ago or 40 minutes ago at 3 times speed. I think sim heads are gonna really, really like this. I legitimately think it looks really, really good. I feel like the faces have been getting better and better. As someone who has dabbled in all 3 Fable games and kind of bounced off, this looks really, really cool, and I'm excited to see people who enjoy this. Yes. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of doing what you would kind of want from this sort of game, of making this tight-knit community of people and getting invested in there. Again, not super for me, but I think what is there is going to be great sim, serviceable combat. I think Xbox does have something good on their hands. Which also,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was also going to bring up the boycott, because they're
No, please, yeah, they're under BDS boycott.
Yeah, they're invested in a genocide, so that's great.
That's right.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yep, it's the kind of thing where it's I think about it every time. But I always follow these games. It's like, man, that's from that studio I like, and then it's always, oh yeah, it's Microsoft, and but it's worth bringing up every time. This is a company that at a high level, Xbox is under BDS boycott. The game looks nice. It does. I think especially the environments. It seems very detailed. And it is kind of one of the things I always want from games. Instead of a vast, massive open world with tons of stuff, maybe just scale it down a little bit and fill that with all kinds of cool things to interact with, and then really have a group of NPCs that are fully fleshed out. And 400's a huge number still. If you play this game for 100 hours, you probably still only interact with a fraction of those in any meaningful way. So that's going to feel like a world that has so much going on that it could feel alive if they're able to nail these things. But we'll see. I'm always rooting for Playground. I am. I like that studio. Yeah. The fact that they are trying this new genre, this is one of those things where it's like you just want this to work out for them, because if it does, then they can. It feels like they can really do anything. And if it doesn't, then they got to go back and make 10 more Forza Horizons. Not that I would complain about that necessarily, but obviously they wanted to make this for a reason, and hopefully it works out for them. Can't help but root for that studio.
Right.
All right. Panic, the studio, the company, the ones that made the Crank handheld, the Playdate.
Yeah.
They're actually refunding people the tariffs that people paid on their Playdates. This is from Nicole Carpenter and Diego Arguello at game developer. Crank-driven handheld Playdate maker Panic emailed customers this week to spread some good news. The company received tariff refunds from the United States government and is passing that along to customers. People who purchased a Playdate from Panic during the period in which the tariffs were charged will get the refunds. There was a specific window of time this year where we did charge tariffs to customers. Panic co-founder Cable Sasser explained in an email to game developer confirming the news. We tried absorbing the cost for a while, but that was financially difficult for a small company like ours. We made the tariff a very obvious and clearly labeled line item on checkout for any customer affected. Panic also set up a website to explain the 19% tariff surcharge. 19% is what it got up to. That's fucking stupid. The United States Supreme Court ruled that United States President Donald Trump's tariffs were not a legal use, surprise, of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Companies impacted by the tariffs had to apply for their share of the refund. Some companies, like Nintendo, are keeping the refund money. Most of these companies are, and they are massive. Now, it is worth pointing out the difference for a lot of these things is Nintendo just raised their prices. That's what they did. For the companies that did charge a separate surcharge, a tariff fee, and made it a separate line item, they're the ones most susceptible to lawsuits or people like saying, hey, give me that money back, because it's very clearly marked and separated out from the cost of the product. That was sort of the legal theory from the beginning, where the companies that just raised prices, and they could say, we're allowed to set our prices, and there's multiple reasons we raise the price, not just tariffs, so we can't just unravel that. Now, we all know mostly bullshit. Although there are a lot of reasons to raise prices, we know that at that time, tariffs were the main reason. But just legally, a lot of these companies were going to be protected because you are allowed to set the price for your own products. That's a freedom that is not going to be something that the United States of America is going to go after a lot of companies for in our capitalist system. Either way, though, no one was compelling Panic to do this. They just did it. Very cool, right?
It's insanely cool. And they're one of the only video game manufacturers, I guess you could call it, that are doing these pro-consumer moves. It really, really just impassions a smaller fan base like that, makes people want to invest more in the community. And we very rarely see situations like this, and just makes me happier knowing that these guys are around. Very cool device too. Always new games are coming out that I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. I should get that.
They're also just a really good publisher. Panic. They do Happier Here. Was that what it was? Let's see here. Panic Games. Oh, they just, you know what they just did? Maybe Game of the Year. Big Walk. They published that.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Right. And they did Despalote and Blippo Plus. That's right. Yes. Thank goodness you're here. Is what it is. Herdling. Man, I like all this shit. All those games are awesome. Time Flies. That was a good one. Man. Okay. So yeah, they just they got a good eye for games as a publisher, and then I really enjoy the Playdate. So just excellent company. Metal Gear Solid 4. It's Metal Gear Solid 4's Liberation Day, everybody. It has escaped the disgusting confines of the Cell processor. The PlayStation 3 shall no longer hold back Metal Gear Solid 4. Let's go. You can play it everywhere today. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 releases today, which means Metal Gear Solid 4 is finally, officially playable on something besides a PS3. Metal Gear Solid 4 has effectively been trapped on Sony's 2006 hardware since its 2008 release. The collection is also reviewing reasonably well, and a lot of people who I consider to be Metal Gear Solid insanos, are your Tam Husseins out there. He was saying, yeah, this thing is, he's very happy with this, and he's playing it, and it was great to see. So And there's a Switch 2 version, and that reportedly also targets 60 frames per second. So you can kind of play this thing anywhere now. It's kind of amazing, huh?
Yeah, it's cool. Now that's 99% of the entire series. I feel like 5 just needs to come to Switch, but like, yeah, now everyone can play everything. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Makes me excited for the future of Metal Gear. A little weird to say. I still don't know how to sell that.
Yeah, I definitely am, because it's, again, we're talking about Konami, right? And I get that the Insanos, the Dan Reicherts, will be like, don't ever do it without Kojima. I just don't have that same feeling where it's like, hey, I don't know. I feel like if someone who truly loved those games was put in charge and tried to do it in that style, and I had a certain, like, as long as they got a blessing from Kojima, I would be fine with it. But I know that is absolutely sacrilegious to so many people. So it's one of those things that just is no way guaranteed to happen. But I think if they go back and forth between remaking these games and then trying something new, and maybe it would have to be quite different just to like separate itself from what Kojima would make. But I don't know. We'll see if that's even possible. There's a good chance it just never happens because it's a third rail of a sort.
True, but I mean, with 4 out now, like all you need is 4 and Revengeance, and then that's kind of a clean slate of sorts to make new stories in the future without having to, have to deal with all the intricacies of like working with a Kojima level plot. So I really have no idea. It's weird. I get a little nervous about it, but I'm excited to see what the future holds regardless.
I like Crafty NYC's chat. Remake that Sun game just to fuck with them. Yeah, remake.
Yeah, Boktai.
Kojima's Boktai. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Listen, if they put out some peripheral that attached to the Switch 2 that was a sun dial or whatever, a solar meter, I would, yeah. The thing, I think it has one built in, right? Because it uses light
in the cart.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but like I think the Switch 2 has a sun or a light detector, because that's how it does the auto brightness level. So could a game tap into that on an API level, and they could just make a Boktai? Maybe. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it can't tell the difference. Maybe it probably can tell if it has to be over a certain brightness level. It's like clearly someone is outside. Who the fuck knows? All right. Kingdom Hearts 4 information will have to wait after a bit of a gap. This is also from Dave Aubrey at VGC. The next Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer will be released after a bit of a gap. That's according to Kingdom Hearts 4 game director Tetsuya Nomura and Tai Yasue. The duo spoke with Famitsu about Kingdom Hearts 4, but the next trailer might be some time away. The release is still scheduled for late next year, and the development team is in the final stages, so we'll be focusing on that for a while, Nomura told Famitsu. We're currently considering when to release the next information, so there will likely be a bit of a gap. This sounds like the normal thing, John, of creating assets, creating trailers, whether that's the studio itself doing it or handing it off to a third party to create a CGI trailer. Irregardless of any of that, it takes a lot of time and a lot of resources away from the people making the game. And so that's why we get those things less frequently these days. And they're like, hey, we did one. We're good for a while. We're going to go back to work on the game. And that's always the right choice these days, it seems like. We come back to us when the thing is much closer, and you could do the run up in the final 2 to 3 months, and then we could start talking about the game again once you've mostly finished that work, right?
Yeah, and that does make the most sense. As someone who really likes Kingdom Hearts, I think this makes a lot of sense, because sometimes less is more in those trailers. You kind of get to piece it out a little bit more, get people a little bit more excited, as opposed to just like revealing your hand like right away. Especially for something that takes as long to develop as Kingdom Hearts. Like, I'm assuming this is going to be like December or November of next year, and there's going to be so many state of play, so many game awards and Summer Games Fest to show this off. Square seems more now than ever just willing to show stuff off everywhere, especially as it's coming to everything. But yeah, it's also a weird thing because Tetsuya Nomura loves to hide his like meta textual stuff in all these trailers, and it gives him more time to like mess with your heads and all this crazy Illuminati nonsense. It's I don't know. It's very weird but it's very weird to read this man. He is one of a kind in the industry.
They did say that they're before signing off, he teases plans for the series' 25th anniversary without promising a new trailer. Also, there will be something planned for next year's 25th anniversary, so please look forward to the announcement. Let's see here, as anniversary exhibition is confirmed to be taking place in Roppongi starting February 5th, 2027. So this may be more when more Kingdom Hearts 4 information is revealed, speculates Dave. And then they mentioned Kingdom Hearts 4 English voiceover recording is 60 to 70% complete, 6-7. So Kingdom Hearts 4 is still set for a late 2027 release. Yeah. They also, just as a reminder, that date, that release date, they were very firm about that.
Yeah.
Nomura said no chance that slips. So all these things are going to have to be pretty solid. Although talk is cheap, they could still easily delay the thing. We'll see, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like now more than ever, Disney is like so into Kingdom Hearts. Like they were saying it's a $1 billion property. They're making an anime show. So that even could be what they're showing off later this year because we have no idea what that's going to cover. Yeah, like it's very cool to like actually have a hard date for it took like 13 years in between 2 and 3. So the fact that it's going to be like 2019, 2027, 8 years, around 8-ish years is kind of crazy. I'm very excited for this. It looks so gorgeous. I'm here. I'm so deep in the Duffy of Kingdom Hearts. It's kind of bad. Like I'm very, very, very excited for this game.
I did definitely get the urge to play Kingdom Hearts 2. I didn't enjoy playing Kingdom Hearts 1, but I like everything else about it. I like the Disney and the Final Fantasy and all that stuff mashing together. I'm not one of these people like the story is confusing, so fuck it, man. What a bad game. Whatever. Lots of stories are confusing or I don't care about
and
them.
Bad.
Yeah, and bad. Yes, a lot of stories are bad, and that just actually doesn't matter to me most of the time. And it does that to nothing to do with my dislike for Kingdom Hearts 1. So I'm like, I should see through this series and play. Not gonna play all of them, but I'll play the main lines and maybe one or two others. It's
Two legitimately has some of my favorite combat in any action
RPG
I've like ever played. It's so good, but it requires a time investment, and there's only a lot of people have a certain threshold they're willing.
Yeah, this isn't happening before the end of 2026. That's for sure. Yeah, no way.
That's valid. Yeah.
All right, let's see. I think that does it for all the big headlines. Let's talk about this week, and that's mostly what is happening today. As we've done this show, Xbox had its second Gamescom broadcast. I think that was a big focus on Call of Duty. There was some other stuff there as well. Not sure if any new headlines have come out since then, but if they did, we'll talk about them on tomorrow's show. 3 p.m. today, as a reminder, GTA 6 and extended look debuts on Netflix. We will have some sort of talkover happening right then. It's not going to be a straight talkover. We're going to kind of scrub through the video, break it down because that's what's required to actually do that. But we did get the green light from Rockstar to do that. So 3 p.m. we'll make it happen. And then 9 p.m. Eastern, that will be on the Rockstar YouTube channels and stuff. So if you don't want to get Netflix or you do want to watch it uninterrupted, which we won't be able to do, you could do that later at 9 p.m. if you aren't going to sign up for Netflix. And then tomorrow, nothing really happened in the games industry, so we will make something happen. Once again, the Giant Bomb Video Weekend Rental Club. We got some cool artwork will debut from Jerem that really just absolutely slams. And we'll kind of show off some of that stuff. And then we'll hang out and have a fun game rental night with our friends, just like we used to for the N64. All right, let's see a poll question from yesterday. Let's get caught up on that. I'm going to refresh and get the most recent results. Are you going to watch the GTA 6 and extended look on Netflix this week? 4,000 votes. Yes or no were your options. I obviously am. So are 31%. 69% said no. Nice. Yeah, I think that's where it is at with this audience. I think people are done hearing about this game. Like maybe I don't think that means they won't play it. Like this is not the same thing as people being like, I'm not even going to touch that game. Although for many people it probably is, John. But I think mostly this is wake me up when I can actually play this game. It's been so long. It's kind of I've gotten into so many other games. This doesn't really matter to me until I can actually play it as a video game because that's what I like doing, playing the video games. We've been stuck in this. Let's talk about the video game coming out one day for so long with this horse shit that I think a lot of people are just done with it. That's definitely what I read here, at least for this audience, John.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind them. I'm excited to finally get to try the game rather than actually just worry about it and it being headlines and absorbing literally every other aspect of the conversation around video games for so long. It's going to be cool. We'll be able to focus on a lot of more diverse and cool games.
Yep. All right, a new poll question. We'll get to it here in a second. Before we do that, though, John, tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky. That's primarily where I'm at right now, johnmartin.bluesky.social. It's been crazy over here. I've been like away every weekend, so I haven't been able to stream or anything really for a minute. But yeah, you can follow me there. I post about everything. Love talking about video games. Yeah, I'm just always excited to be a part of this community. Everyone is absolutely fantastic. Oh, I'm trying to get, and I know you were trying to spray people with Final Fantasy 14. I do need some help. I have a friend who's also on the free trial. I need someone to help us party up. It's really important that we get him into there so it's not time lost. I don't know. You could spray me too, to be honest, if you want
absolutely.
to.
Gonna get the rubber bullets out and just put you guys all back in your place for sure. No, you do what you got to do. You get that. Listen, if you put a bat signal out like that for Final Fantasy 14 in this community, it's gonna get answered. So
I need some sickos. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's gonna happen now. All right. New poll question: have you ever played Metal Gear Solid 4? Yes or no? We'll get the results of that question on tomorrow's Game Mess Mornings. Speaking of Game Mess Mornings on Giant Bomb. Later today on Giant Bomb, it's the voicemail dump truck. We will then talk over this Grand Theft Auto, an extended look. At least I'll be doing that, and then we'll see who hops in there with me. And then, it's going to be on to tomorrow, where we're going to have another Game Mess Mornings. We are going to have UPF, and then there is that Giant Bomb video, Weekend Rental Club, 6 p.m. Eastern. Come hang out with us, everybody. That's premium only, that specific stream. So go sign up for Giant Bomb premium, giantbomb.com/join. We might have a couple codes left for if you do sign up to get Blood Dungeon. Probably not that many left actually at this point, so I better be careful with that. But there might be a couple. If you sign up now, you'll get that, and you'll be able to watch Giant Bomb video, Weekend Rental Club. So make that happen, everybody. And thanks again to everybody who signed up and just kind of hangs out and watches with us. And also, thank you to John for hanging out with us to talk about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure, Jeff. Anytime.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. Go check out the Star Wars Zero Company Quick Look, which just went up for us today. I think if you want to hear the sort of dissenting opinion, like Chuck doesn't hate it or something like that, but he will give you a lot of perspective like, hey, I'm coming at this from a different angle. This is the quick look for you. Go watch it, everyone, because I think it's going to be very illuminating. It's not just a love fest like a lot of the other reviews have been. And I think that could be very helpful, even if you're probably going to end up loving it like I have. All right. Catch you next time, everybody. You're the best audience in gaming. Until then, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Bye-bye, YouTube.